Yeah, and we do have a book that you branded for our home care company, which we've all played around with it and used it. And I, as far as digital and print, I still like to hold a book in my hand rather than read it off a screen. I don't know that I will ever change, but yeah. So you know, I want to talk too about like stimulation because I was speaking last night. I shared with you before we came on that I was asked to speak at the University of Denver, and we were screening a phenomenal dementia film, and it was about some of the research, some of the breakthroughs, the testing, but so much of it focused in on these people need engagement, they need stimulation, they need something that they can have a purpose for, right? Can you explain what makes the book so effective in promoting that mental stimulation and even emotional well-being?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So for us, we really focus in the intentionality of the content. We create all of our content internally. We focus on wellness, movement, nutrition for seniors. So we want it to be super dignified for our audience, right? So we're really, that we want it to be fun, engaging. We have music playlists with the PDFs. So people can play the music that ties into the theme. So every month we're covering a different state or we're covering a different country. So we want it to be kind of a journey for the senior and the caregivers, right? And keeping their minds. I mean, we get so many testimonials from people that it's just heartwarming. Like we'll get Ann Scooter, rest in peace. She's in Westchester, Pennsylvania. She got a book that I had dropped off years ago, and she found the book and wrote us a letter. And I keep the letter here in my office, and I often, on our journey, I'm looking at that letter a lot, but it just warms my heart. She was saying, "Thank you for creating a book." She said it was a gift from heaven. I mean, it just gave me goosebumps. And I was like, oh my goodness. And she said, it made me feel so good about my abilities, right? To hear something like that from a senior. Another one in Montana, she came back with a note and said, at night when I can't sleep, I do my activity books and it helps calm me down and I don't feel as anxious. I'm like, oh my goodness. So those stories just really, keeps the team going with our mission, right? There's another story. There's a gentleman on our website. He passed away recently, but he had Lewy body's dementia, and he was getting Colorful Fun, which is for folks that have early stages of cognitive decline. And so he loved the book, and we get a letter from his wife, who was his primary caregiver. And apparently, mid-afternoon, late afternoon, he would get agitated every day. And he had just received his book, and she had sent a letter to us thanking us. And I was kind of, wow, thanking us. And she said, normally he gets agitated. And I didn't hear from him for 2 hours.
Oh,
And I thought he was sleeping in his lazy boy. And she went in the room, took a picture of him. And she said, thank you. He was so engaged. And the smile on his face, she sent us a picture. And I said, oh my gosh. And she thanked us, saying it gave me a break
wow.
as a caregiver. And it just warmed our hearts. And I said, Pat, is there any way we can use that photograph for our website? He's so handsome and so engaged. And, those stories are really what, it's like, okay, we're doing the right thing. This is helping people, it's helping caregivers, and it's helping our seniors.